Hello and welcome to Majors TV for the start of exhibition baseball. My name's Cam Sterling, and to my right, I'm joined by Josh Alderman. Josh, you can feel it in the air. Baseball season is back.
That it is, Cam. The sport of summer has arrived once more. And this is going to be a fantastic matchup. The London Majors and the visiting Hamilton Cardinals going head-to-head on school day here at Labatt Memorial Park. We got kids packing the grandstands from left to right. You just love to see it.
Yeah, we sort of have a rivalry game here. It was a very close series matchup between the Hamilton Cardinals and the London Majors last year, where the Majors eked them out 3-2. But we also have a round one playoff rematch, where the Majors took home the victory in the first round in 4 games. So what can we expect with this matchup here today?
I think we can expect fireworks. I think because Hamilton coming into the season a lot more motivated, they've picked up some veteran pieces, Jonathan Salazzo, Fernando Rodney for one, some veteran names to add a little more depth to their roster to make that push again this season. They're coming back with a lot more firepower, and I think the Majors have to be ready for that. Fireworks, it's a school day. They're going to put on a show for the kids.
Yeah, and both teams have some key additions that are coming into the regular season that we are yet to see, with Jonathan Salazzo, all-star from last year, joining the Hamilton Cardinals, whereas the Majors bring in Josh Niles from the Hamilton Cardinals. So different teams coming into the mix here today, different players that we haven't seen last year. So it's a brand new game of baseball here today.
Yep, couldn't have said it better myself. It is going to be a fantastic game here at Labatt Memorial Park. I mean, like you mentioned off the top, you can just feel the energy. The crowd's electric. It's the first game of the season. Yes, it is an exhibition game, but these two teams are going to be bringing it right from that opening pitch.
I completely agree. Pitching is something both of these teams were huge success on. Hamilton Cardinals are notorious for their stacked pitching roster, but Victor Payano, Travis Keys have performed very well against the Cardinals, with Payano actually picking up 13 strikeouts in both Game 1 and Game 4 of the playoffs against the Cardinals. So we'll see how those an equal side of pitching plays out here today.
Yep, both of these teams adding some depth in the offseason, picking up former prospects, picking up some college players from U Sports, from the OUA, from across Canada, and that's something you really, really love to see, as both of these teams getting in their last few practice swings, throwing the ball around, and of course, warming up their hands by signing autographs for the kids.
Definitely going to be a heated game with so much energy in the air, with elementary schools from all around London, Ontario, coming to enjoy some exhibition baseball with us here today. Definitely going to be an intense matchup, with major new additions like Nick Veloci coming from McMaster Marauders, who's the team MVP for 2 years in running. And on the major side, we got a former minor leaguer from the Miami Marlins, Toby Simmons, leading off today. So, yeah, as I said before, it's two different teams from last year. Anything can happen here today.
And going back to Toby Simmons, it is a history-making afternoon for him. He becomes the first player from the Bahamas to step foot on an IBL field, and of course, with that kind of historic weight behind his appearance here at Labatt Park, he's going to want to put on a good outing here today. His first time in a Majors uniform, first time in the IBL. It's a landmark moment.
Yeah, Toby Simmons definitely going to be a key player to watch here today with the leadoff position. Going to be able to set the tone for the London Majors, get back to where they want to get back in 21 and 22, taking home the championship. After a rough second round exit last year by the Barry Baycats in a 3-game sweep, they're looking to make it better this year.
Picking up these big pieces, and I was just taken out of it for a moment, because after every announcement you can see the starting lineups for the Majors hitting the field. These kids are going absolutely insane. Massive reaction. Some of them may not have been Majors fans heading into this game, but I guarantee you, leaving this park, they're going to be Majors fans for life.
Yeah, and these kids are extremely excited to come see this Majors baseball, considering they get a day off of school. You can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. Yeah, a lot of familiar faces coming into this London Majors roster. We got former All-Stars like Eduardo Diolio playing today. We got Brad Verhoeven, Tristan Osika, Ty Mosher, Byron Reichstein returning once again, and our beloved All-Star Travis Keys on the mound for the Majors today.
Travis Keys, an all-star in his own right. In his second year with the London Majors last season, 6 wins, 4 losses, pitched his way to a 4.11 ERA, racked up in a very, very impressive 91 strikeouts, only walked 33 across 85 innings pitched. Keys, like you mentioned off the top, is going to be a definitive number 2 right behind Payano, but really 2 aces back-to-back. Travis Keys, you put him on any other team, he is their number 1. He's their go-to guy, but with someone like Payano, you bump Keys down to that number 2 spot once the regular season comes around. And if you're the Majors, if you're Roop Chandradat, you can't complain about having a guy like Travis Keys being your number 2 guy, having that kind of pitching depth, like we mentioned before.
Yeah, and don't count the Cardinals out of it with Ramon Henriquez on the mound. First year in the IBL, didn't play in 2024, but is coming in with a 4-1 record and a 3.58 ERA. It's not too shabby. Definitely going to put up some competition towards the All-Star Travis Keys.
Yep.
With the London Majors at the amazing ballpark, Memorial Park.
And we are getting ready for O Canada here at Labatt Memorial Park, and that can only mean one thing. Majors baseball is coming just around the corner, so stay tuned. First pitch is next.
Beyond the Soars and get to know the athletes who call the Forest City home.
Joseph crushes one.
Game Day London brings you in-depth stories and conversations about London's major teams and the athletes. Whether it's in the rink with the Knights or on the field with the Majors, Game Day London has you covered from the start. For fresh and engaging sports coverage, visit GameDayLondon.com, a proud sponsor of MajorsTV.
If there's guys on base, I'm trying to create the situation in my head. Corey Hunter taught me that. Create it in your mind, where you're throwing the ball, what you're doing in this situation. When it happens, you're just reacting. Defense, you can always make a play. You always have an opportunity. You never know what ball's going to get hit to you. It's always a good feeling when you're running down balls for your pitcher. You look forward to running balls and robbing home runs. Nothing more satisfying than making a diving play or a big play.
And we are back for the first home exhibition game for the London Majors here at the wonderful, historic Labatt Memorial Park. I'm Cam Sterling calling you the game with Josh Alderman. It's with the new mascot, Forrest, on the mound. Baseball is back in the air.
It is the start of another fantastic IBL season, and like you mentioned, the new mascot out there on the mound. I was pretty surprised. You don't see too many mascots here in the IBL. The Majors taking a big step forward, introducing their very own lumberjack by the name Forrest.
Really taking on that Forest City mantra that London exudes with the incredible nature surrounding us here at Labatt Memorial Park. Incredible environment here in downtown London, Ontario. Fits right in.
Yeah, the scenery just absolutely beautiful. From where we're sitting, you got the trees lining the back of the ballpark, the cityscape in the background. You can't beat it anywhere else.
As we said before, the All-Star Travis Keys on the mound for the London Majors, trying to start his season off right. Had an incredible season last year, making the All-Star team, along with Victor Payano for the Majors pitching core. Travis Keys, a 6-2 record last year, over 15 appearances, 73 innings pitched with a 3.45 ERA, and 79 strikeouts through the regular season last year. Not to mention some solid playoff performances as well. Definitely going to be a strong arm here today. Not going to give any easy throws for this Hamilton Cardinals offense.
And as you can see right there on your screens, Keys showing no rust. He's right back at it, delivering fastballs with ease. Yeah, looks like he's all business.
Leading off for the Hamilton Cardinals, we got Raquelbin DeCastro. Had a solid season with the Cardinals last year. One of the few familiar faces coming back in the position players for the Hamilton Cardinals. Appeared in only 10 games last year, but had 13 hits over 48 at-bats, having a 2.71 batting average. Not too bad considering a lot of the big-time hitters for the Hamilton Cardinals left in the offseason, like Dennis Dye Benning and Luis Bernardo.
If you factor in the playoffs, he had 4 doubles, 5 RBIs, and 6 stolen bases. He's a solid contact hitter, and he's one that Keys and the Majors really want to keep off base. Like I just mentioned, 6 stolen bases across regular and postseason last year. He's a speed threat. As soon as that ball leaves the bat, he's gone. Chances are he'll end up hitting second by the time, even if it's just a fly ball, gets caught.
Travis Keys with the first throw, and it's in the dirt. Raquelbin DeCastro, huge on contact, not a huge power hitter with 0 home runs on the year last year. Did about in 3 RBIs in his 10 appearances as he pops it out to Brad Verhoeven. And he tracks it for the first out of the game. Brad Verhoeven, definitely a utility knife for this London Majors defense last year. Played anywhere from catcher to first base to left field. You can stick Brad Verhoeven anywhere on this London Majors field.
Well, we mentioned how DeCastro wasn't much of a power threat. We go from not much power to all the power in the world. Tyler Duncan stepping up to bat, today's starting center fielder for the visitors. Duncan, MVP in 2023, won the home run derby last year.
Tyler Duncan, just an all-around offensive threat as Keys caught him swinging and missing. But Tyler Duncan hits for massive power, but also gets on base a lot with 339 batting average, hitting 6 home runs and 27 RBIs last year with a 939 OPS. An all-around offensive threat as Keys catches him looking for the second strike of the at-bat.
Well, Duncan, this may just be the first game of the season, but he's looking a little shaky out there.
As we see, it's an exhibition match against one of the best pitchers on this London Majors roster. So if there's a bit of shakiness, that's something you can work out before the regular season. But this is a rough first at bat for one of the Hamilton Cardinals' top players.
That being said, it's still plenty of game left to be played. Now, because this is an exhibition game, we're only going to 7 innings today. Not the regular 9, just 7. Partly because it is an exhibition, you don't want to injure anyone, and partly because these kids need to get back home to school before the day is done.
As it's popped out to left field. And I believe it's going to be a foul ball.
At the very least, Duncan made contact on that one. He's got a lot of bite in that bat. Keys should keep this one out of the zone.
And Keys gets his first strikeout of the exhibition season for the London Majors.
A nasty breaking ball down and in. Duncan, just a big swing and a miss there. Couldn't get any of it. And that's going to bring up the 3-hole hitter, new catcher for the Cardinals, Julie Vittini.
Julie Vittini in his first IBL season, I believe.
Big strike there from Keys. Just caught the corner with that fastball.
Last season, Julie Vittini pops it out to shortstop for Fajardo to get it to Verhoeven for the third out. And we're heading to the bottom of the first.
The crowd is absolutely electric. You love to hear that. Just the roar of the crowd. Let's go Majors chants before we even threw the first pitch.
Fantastic welcome for Francisco Fajardo in his first season as a London Major. Gets a warm welcome as he makes the routine play at shortstop. And gets the third out for the first inning for the London Majors.
So with the Majors sent down in order, that is going to bring them up to bat to face another new face on this Cardinals roster, Ramon Enriquez. The Dominican Dynamo, 25 years old, pitched in the New York Mets farm system last season, put up a .358 ERA, 4 wins, 1 loss, 1 save. 38 Ks, but struggled with control, walking 32 batters across 37 innings pitched. Of course, got released from the Mets farm system, has found his way up north, looking to start anew in the Hammer.
Yeah, having almost as many walks as you do strikeouts isn't exactly what you want to bring in, but getting this first exhibition start for the Hamilton Cardinals, it's not too bad of a opportunity for Ramon Enriquez heading into this season.
Well, with the Majors coming up to bat, let's take a look at the home side's lineup here today.
Yeah, at center field we got Toby Simmons, the Miami Marlins minor leaguer. Next at 2, Francisco Fajardo. And then the catcher, Eduardo Delio, batting third. The cleanup batter, Byron Reichstein, leading this team in home runs last year, other than Caden Cardoso. Ty Mosher batting 5th, Tristan Osika 6th, Brad Verhoeven 7th, Adrian Harrison 8th, and a combination of Charlie Bowen and Jagan Chanderdat batting 9th. As we saw, Travis Keys on the mound for the London Majors. Not too bad of an exhibition rotation that the Majors are putting out today. As we see one of the highest, most exciting free agent signings for the London Majors leading off this game, number 24, Toby Simmons.
He was just signed about a week or two back, a fresh addition to this Majors roster. And as we mentioned off the top of the broadcast, the first Bahamian player to play in the IBL, to play professional baseball in Canada, period. A history-making moment here for Simmons, and came from the Marlins farm system across 3 seasons there, put up a .249 batting average, scored 75 runs, stole 54 bases, pardon me. He is a speed threat, no doubt about it, and of course had some pretty solid contact as well, 46 RBIs across those 3 seasons. He's just going to be so exciting in this lineup, a young guy, lots of potential, such a great future around him. And hopefully he's able to make the most of it in the Forest City.
Yep, does have some experience against the major leaguers, of course, playing in the minors for the FCL Marlins. But through 19 games, he had 10 hits and at 43 at-bats for a .233 batting average. Not too bad for a leadoff hitter, considering the speed threat he brings and the possibility of stolen bases for him as well. It's huge for the Majors to have a speed threat.
For your London Majors, center fielder number 24, Toby Simmons.
As Ramon Enriquez is facing his first at-bat as a Hamilton Cardinals pitcher.
And just like Keys, doesn't look shaken up, just ready to rock, all business.
And the first pitch, it catches Toby Simmons, looking a little bit of a wake-up call for the former Marlins minor leaguer. And the second pitch is in, and it's a bit outside for a 1-1 count.
Slider had quite the arc on it, something you don't see with a lot of breaking balls. Enriquez showing off his arsenal a bit early here in this one.
Nice check swing by Toby Simmons. Doesn't go all the way. Gets the 2-1 count.
Great job from Simmons to hold that one back. The pitch high. Had a little break, a bit of curve to it. Excellent work from the young Bahamian player.
And he catches him looking once again. Doesn't commit to the check swing. Toby Simmons with a 703 OPS is very productive on the offensive side. Gets on base for 77% of the time. Always a threat as the leadoff hitter with his speed. It's Henriquez. And it's a foul ball into the netting. Keeping the 2-2 count.
Keeping the kids on their toes. You could hear some of the shouts, some of the screams from the youngsters in attendance here. Thankfully, we do have the protective netting, keeping them safe, them and us safe.
And Enriquez catches him looking again, striking out Toby Simmons.
Well, Enriquez picks up his very first punch out in his very first outing here in the IBL. Yes, it is an exhibition game, but that still means something to him. Having that written down, I'm sure they're going to save that baseball. That one is going home with Enriquez.
Next up for the Majors, Francisco Fajardo, another former minor leaguer playing for the Toronto Blue Jays farm team. Shows potential throughout his minor league with 120 hits on 404 at-bats through his minor league career, batting a .297 average. It's a decent second bat for this Majors team so far.
Yeah, not too shabby, and I will say plenty of the prospects picked up across the IBL played in the Florida Conference League, the Dunedin League. Not many of them made it up to the A system.
Has a chance for, doesn't get it. Tanner Rempel gets the put out at first base just in time for Fajardo, getting the second out for the Hamilton Cardinals.
As I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted by that ground ball, Fajardo did make it up to high A ball up in Vancouver in the Jays farm system. So he's got a little more expertise than a lot of the young prospects that have been picked up in this offseason. Just couldn't get the call there. And
up next, we got a fan favorite, Eduardo Diolio, one of the key contributors throughout the Majors playoff run, hit the only home run for the London Majors in the playoffs against the Hamilton Cardinals. Third in home runs last year with 5. Definitely a key player to watch here today.
Like you said, Eddie Diolio, such a fan favorite around London. And to think he's only in his 3rd season starting this year with the Majors. But in that short time, he has won the hearts and minds of everybody here in the Forest City. Great work ethic, great grit, and of course, when it comes down to it, like you mentioned, great power.
Huge threat for Ramon Enriquez to keep it above, and it's popped out to first base. Tanner Rempel calling it, and he gets the out. That'll be the end of the first inning as Tanner Rempel saves it. You're watching Hamilton Cardinals versus London Majors on Majors TV, brought to you by the Factory and the Clubhouse at 100 Kellogs Lane.
That Park in London, Ontario, the world's oldest baseball grounds. Now through Labor Day, book your guided tour and walk the same field as Ty Cobb, Fergie Jenkins, Honus Wagner, and some of baseball's most legendary players. View artifacts from over the years inside the original 1940 clubhouse. Experience baseball history in London, Ontario. Book your guided tour at labattparktours.ca.
Go beyond the scores and get to know the athletes who call the Forest City home.
Joseph crushes one.
Game Day London brings you in-depth stories and conversations about London's major teams and the athletes. Whether it's in the rink with the Knights or on the field with the Majors, Game Day London has you covered from the start. For fresh and engaging sports coverage, visit GameDayLondon.com, a proud sponsor of MajorsTV.
If there's guys on base, I'm trying to create the situation in my head. Corey Hunter taught me that. Create it in your mind, where you're throwing the ball, what you're doing in this situation. When it happens, you're just reacting. Defense, you can always make a play. You always have an opportunity. You never know what ball's going to get hit to you. It's always a good feeling when you're running down balls for your pitcher. You look forward to running balls and robbing home runs. Nothing more satisfying than making a diving play or a big play.
And we're back in the second inning with Josh Williams coming up to bat for the Hamilton Cardinals. Picked up a home run last year, batting .300 batting average in 8 games last year. It's a huge power threat for the Hamilton Cardinals coming up. As Keys catches him looking for the first strike of the at-bat.
Keys still locked in after an impressive performance in the first inning, setting down all 3 Cardinals in order, and just couldn't get good control there on that pitch. Really the first mistake he's made today, as that one bounces away from DeOlio.
Yeah, Travis Keys staying very composed, getting a strikeout on Tyler Duncan and a ground out to Francisco Fajardo as well. Staying very composed as he lines up the third pitch for the at-bat, and it's fouled to the left.
Now, Josh Williams entering his 5th year in the IBL. He is a familiar face around these parts, spent 3 seasons with the London Majors. He knows Labatt Memorial Park inside and out. He's looking to avoid the strikeout here.
And it's a nice pop out to left field as Josh Williams is heading for second and gets the first hit of this exhibition game. As we said, huge power threat for Josh Williams, picking up a home run and 300 batting average for the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers last year. It's a tough draw for Travis Keys as we see Tanner Rempel heading up for the 5th at-bat for the Hamilton Cardinals.
Tanner Rempel, one of the more experienced members of this Cardinals roster. One of the returning names entering his 3rd season in the Hammer.
And a little bit outside for Travis Keys for a 1-0 count. Tanner Rempel played 20 games with the Cardinals last year, putting up extremely consistent numbers with 2 home runs, 15 RBIs, and a .762 OPS with a .260 batting average. An all-around threat as Keys catches him looking for a 1-1 count.
Not to mention, once he gets on those base paths, he is quite a speed threat. Had 5 stolen bases, came around to score 14 times last season. He's got that athletic prowess that makes him such a dangerous member of this Cardinals roster.
Definitely an offensive threat with Josh Williams in scoring position at second base. Majors got to look out for a possible extra base hit here. As Travis Keys throws it wide for a 3-1 count.
Josh Williams, not quite the speed threat that Tanner Rempel might be, has only 1 stolen base in his past 4 seasons. He has more of a jogging style as he rounds the base paths, but hey, if Rempel can get that one out.
Rempel fouls it to the right side and makes it a 3-2 count with a runner in scoring position. What's your move if you're Tanner Rempel?
I think 3-2 count, you got a runner at second, no outs, you got to swing. It's not like you're in a situation where the game is on the line just yet. I think you need to take that chance and at least try to put an early run on the board.
Another foul ball to the outside for Tanner Rempel. Up in that pitch count for Travis Keys just a little bit, hoping to tire him out with some foul balls here.
Rempel, across his 2 seasons with the Cardinals prior to this exhibition game, no stranger to helping out his team. 25 RBIs. Looking to make it 26 with this afternoon's contest.
And gets it into center field for Toby Simmons to collect. Josh Williams is stopped at third. Great defensive play by Toby Simmons, getting the ball into the infield fast.
Yeah, we talked earlier about the speed of Toby Simmons, showing it off there. Sprinting from closer to the warning track than anything, all the way in to corral that ball and holding Williams at third. Excellent defensive prowess from the youngster in his first IBL outing.
Next up to bat for the Hamilton Cardinals, we got Yolki Pena as his first season with the Hamilton Cardinals. Sends it into center field. Toby Simmons getting under it and gets the put out. Gets it in fast and puts Josh Williams to the stop.
That was a wicked throw there from Simmons. All right, we talked about his foot speed. That throw, it was a fastball. I mean, if it comes down to it, the Majors probably could put him on the mound. Simmons really showing off all his range of skills here in just the second inning of play.
Next up for the Hamilton Cardinals is Nico Kakedos from the Weyburn Beavers last year. Not too bad of stats for Nico Kakedos heading into his first season with the Hamilton Cardinals as he flies it out to left field. And Josh Williams going home. And Diolio gets him in time to put the inning away.
What a fantastic play there.
Fantastic play.
Right sign, and then that throw in, absolutely perfect. Ball tossed over to Diolio, and it was just a matter of principle at that point.
Reichstein, one of the elder statesmen on the Hamilton Cardinals, known for his power, hitting 6 home runs with an only .212 batting average, known for getting that ball outside of Labatt Memorial Park, but he keeps it in here and makes a great defensive play to Eduardo Diolio just in time to get Josh Williams out.
Yeah, we talked about how great Reichstein is on the other side of the ball, his power, his contact, that veteran presence. I think we need to talk a little more this season about the defensive prowess that he has, those skills out in the outfield. And that throw, just like Toby Simmons' throw, is just a perfect example of why these Majors have gotten better and better on the defensive side this offseason.
Ramon Enriquez heading back onto the mound for the Hamilton Cardinals. A huge addition to this already stacked pitching core. This pitching core already had Corbin Peters staying from last year, Chris Boato, Connor Corey, and the newly added former MLBer Fernando Rodney. But Ramon Enriquez getting this start throughout the through the exhibition games. It's a huge momentum boost for the young Hamilton Cardinal.
Seems like the start of a new era, perhaps. A little change up, a little something different, just to shake things up. And something interesting, sorry to cut you off there, down just beside, to the left of home plate, looks like Ruth Chanderdat having a conversation with the home plate umpire. Looks friendly, nothing too concerning, but definitely interesting.
And right after his tremendous defensive play, Byron Reichstein is heading up as the 4th at-bat for the London Majors. We've already talked about how good of an offensive threat Byron Reichstein is. Although only averaging 212 for a batting average, 833 OPS is fantastic for just an overall offensive threat. With 442 slugging percentage and a 391 on base percentage, he's always a threat at the 4th spot for the London Majors.
And we mentioned he's a veteran presence. He's entering his 13th year with the London Majors. The guy's still only 31 years old. He's got plenty of track left in front of him. He's really only hitting his peak now. And across those previous 12 seasons, 317 RBIs, 68 home runs, 91 doubles. The guy is power incarnate.
Enriquez does catch him looking for the first strike of the at-bat, but Byron Reichstein was key in the Game 3 10-9 win against the Cardinals in the playoffs, picking up 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 RBIs, and 2 extra base hits. So Reichstein comes in the clutch for this London Majors team and got the game-clinching game in the playoffs, giving them the 2-1 victory and leverage into the 4th game. And it's a bit too high as Reichstein gets the second ball of the at-bat.
Showing off that veteran mindset. He knows when to lay off, and he knows when to swing for the fences, working himself into a 2-1 count here in the bottom of the 2nd.
It's a little far right, and Reichstein catches the 3rd ball of the at-bat. Ramon Enriquez needs to find the strike zone here.
Reichstein
showing that veteran presence at home plate.
Exactly.
Against a new Hamilton Cardinal pitcher. Gets him swinging as Byron Reichstein tries to swing for the fences of Labatt Memorial Park. Can't quite get his eye on the ball and put that out of the park.
But I like that decision. You're in a 3-1 count. You got the room
to
take a big hack. Now, not quite so much.
As Reichstein fouls it out to the left. Keeping it a 3-2 count, trying to tire Enriquez out. Another foul right behind. Byron Reichstein keeping this at-bat alive for the 8th pitch.
Really, really going out there trying to tire Enriquez out. Now facing a 3-2 count.
And gets it into right center field. Right in the gap as Reichstein's heading for second. And he gets the first extra base hit and the first hit of the London Majors game.
No hyperbole here. The crowd goes wild. Kids are on their feet. They're standing there clapping.
As we said, when Reichstein hits, he hits for power, and he finds the exact gap between right and center field, puts it right where he wants it.
And let's be real, if the wind was blowing the other direction, if we had a little bit of a better breeze here, that one's over the fence, no doubt about it.
Another returnee for the London Majors, Ty Mosher, up to bat for the 5th at-bat of the Majors game. And Enriquez catches him looking right down the center. Mosher played in 30 games for the Majors last year, didn't quite get a home run, but was a huge contact threat with 244 batting average through 86 at-bats and 5 RBIs. As well as a 638 OPS, just an all-around offensive threat in the middle of the Majors batting order.
That being said, he has struggled to catch up with any kind of breaking ball across the regular and postseason last year. Put up 24 strikeouts, something he's looking to improve on this year.
Sends it into the infield. Shortstop makes a nice pop out.
Good catch there from Ricky DeCastro. Hauling that one in and keeping Reichstein right where he is. Just one out and a runner on second here in the bottom of the 2nd.
Tristan Osika, another returnee who came later on in the season for the London Majors. Played in 22 games, batted .246, another infield overall offensive threat for this London Majors team. Did get a home run along with 6 RBIs and a 676 OPS. Solid dynamic duo between Ty Mosher and Tristan Osika as he gets the first ball of the at-bat.
Osika entering his 5th year in the IBL. He's a youngster. He's only 24, but already has that veteran mindset across his 4 seasons already. 40 walks, but he comes up clutch when he needs to. 40 RBIs in that same span of time.
As Enriquez gets the first strikeout of the at-bat, makes it an even count.
And looks like we'll get our first little break in the action as Enriquez stops to tie up his shoes.
Yeah, Tristan Osika, very well-rounded offensive threat with 333 slugging and 343 on-base percentage. Can play really all around the offensive side, hit for power, hit for contact, whatever the Majors needs. And it's just a little bit high as Osika gets ahead in the count.
Yeah, he's a very reliable guy. A solid hand, if you will. Good on defense, excellent on offense. Looking to make an impact here.
As he tries to swing, Enriquez gets him low on the strike zone and makes it a 2-2 count. Tristan Osika, also a fairly local guy from Ancaster, Ontario, with a very very international team with the Majors. It's nice to see some local guys coming back to their hometown team as Enriquez catches him again for the strikeout.
His second punch out of the day. Enriquez really settling in. And if this, admittedly small sample size, is any indication, Enriquez is going to be quite the threat to batters across the IBL once the regular season comes around.
And coming up next to bat for the Majors, it's Brad Verhoeven. As we said before, he's a huge utility knife for this London Majors team. Plays anywhere on the field and hits for solid numbers as well.
Yeah, last
As
season,
Enriquez gets his first strikeout of the at-bat.
last season, regular and postseason combined, had a .373 batting average, 3 doubles, no home runs for him, but 12 RBIs. He's clutch. He can play quite literally anywhere on the field, and his bat power pretty solid in its own regard.
And an overall a huge game of the playoffs where London lost 16-2. Brad Verhoeven picked up 2 hits and an RBI in a pretty dark game. So when push comes to shove, Brad's one of the most trustworthy guys as he hits it into shallow right field, and Enriquez gets the put out at first base. Ramon Enriquez shutting down the inning, showing some versatility, going from the mound to first base as the second inning comes to a close.
Well, the Majors are going to leave a runner stranded. The score still tied at 0-0 as we enter the third inning.
You're watching Hamilton Cardinals versus London Majors on Majors TV, brought to you by the Factory in the Clubhouse at 100 Kellogg Lane.
Welcome to Labatt Park in London, Ontario, the world's oldest baseball grounds. Now through Labor Day, book your guided tour and walk the same field as Ty Cobb, Fergie Jenkins, Honus Wagner, and some of baseball's most legendary players. View artifacts from over the years inside the original 1940 clubhouse. Experience baseball history in London, Ontario. Book your guided tour at Labatt Park Tour.
If there's guys on base, I'm trying to create the situation in my head. Corey Hunter taught me that. Create it in your mind, where you're throwing the ball, what you're doing in this situation. When it happens, you're just reacting. Defense, you can always make a play. You always have an opportunity. You never know what ball's going to get hit to you. It's always a good feeling when you're running down balls for your pitcher. You look forward to running balls and robbing home runs. Nothing more satisfying than making a diving play or a big play.
Welcome back to Majors TV for the third inning of the first exhibition match here at Labatt Memorial Park, as we have a new pitcher on the mound, Ricardo Alvarez de Lugo. An off-season exchange brought him here from the Brantford Red Sox. With a solid season where he appeared in 13 games, did have an 0-6 record, but as we know, Brantford Red Sox did finish in last. So picking up 47.2 innings pitched and a 6.04 ERA. It's not too bad considering the less than successful team he came from.
Yeah. Brantford Red Sox looking to turn things around. They've had a rough couple of years. Alvarez de Lugo, one of the shining lights in the last 2 seasons that he spent in Brantford. 28 punch-outs, only walked 23. And like we mentioned, 6 losses last year. Most of them, well, they didn't really come down to the pitching side of things.
Does bring a little bit more versatility to the mound for the Majors after they lost Braden Farrington, one of their top arms in their bullpen. But Alvarez de Lugo shows promise with the first strikeout, or first strike of the at-bat.
Looks like it's going to be Nick Vellucci up to bat, the Newmarket native. Just 22 years old, coming off a great season with the McMaster Marauders. Batted .393 with a slash line of .393, .469, and .969. Also had 17 stolen bases last season. He is a speed threat, but not going to get to show off that contact just yet.
Alvarez de Lugo sits him down quick and brings up the second batter of the inning for the Hamilton Cardinals. It's going to be infielder Jaden Brown.
Alvarez de Lugo settling in early. 3 straight pitches was all it took. We weren't even done talking about Nick Vellucci, and the at-bat was already done and over.
Alvarez de Lugo puts it a little wide of Jaden Brown for the 1-0 count. Jaden Brown coming from the Bluefield Bridge Runners in his first season with the Hamilton Cardinals. Had a very consistent season last year, batting .365 with 8 home runs, bringing some much-needed power to this contact-heavy Hamilton Cardinals offense. As he fouls it out to the right, Jaden Brown at the end of the batting order. It's a lot of promise for this Hamilton Cardinals and a huge cleanup batter if they need. Jaden Brown not only had a .365 batting average, but a 43 RBIs, along with a .429 on base percentage and a .601 slugging percentage. Simply an all-around offensive threat.
He's not bad.
Not too shabby, if you ask me. But yeah, if you have over a 1,000 OPS, you are a threat, regardless of where you are in the batting order.
And just 23 years old, he's got a bright future ahead of him.
As he fouls it behind, keeping Alvarez de Lugo away from the strikeout, keeps the count even at 2-2.
If he does stick around in the Hammer, dare I say he turns into a franchise player like Tyler Duncan.
As Alvarez de Lugo puts it outside of the zone, keeps Brown swinging for the fences, and retires the batter.
Perhaps we spoke too soon.
Ricardo Alvarez de Lugo getting his second straight strikeout as a Majors pitcher. Could be the new park, could be the new uniform, but Alvarez de Lugo is not looking like the 0-6 record that the stat sheet says.
Maybe all he needed was a change of scenery. A little something new.
As
something
Kelvin
different.
DeCastro heads up back to bat for his second at bat of the game. Alvarez de Lugo gets him looking as well for the 0-1 count. A little bit in the dirt, can't quite reach the strike zone, and it's even for DeCastro.
And, you know, just a couple at-bats into his first appearance with the Majors. Something I'm loving about Alvarez de Lugo is he doesn't waste time.
He throws and he throws fast.
Yep, wastes very little time in between pitches, and couldn't even finish the sentence, and he's right back at it.
Keeps the batters on their toes as he enters a 3-1 count.
If you're DeCastro, you've got to be taking a big hack here. You've got the wiggle room, you've got room to play. Test Alvarez de Lugo's limits.
Fouls it in. Trying to tire out Ricardo Alvarez de Lugo. Putting a stop to those fast pitches we just saw earlier. Castro trying to get some contact on the ball. Get to first base where he's truly a threat with his stealing skills. And he gets the first walk of Alvarez de Lugo's Majors career. Not ideal if you're the London Majors putting Raquelbin DeCastro on first base for free.
Not to mention Tyler Duncan at the plate. We mentioned off the top, All-Star last season, MVP in 2023, won the home run derby last year with runners on base. Tyler Duncan is not the guy you want on.
One of the best players in that Hamilton Cardinals dugout, but he did struggle in the games that the Hamilton Cardinals played the Majors in the playoffs. Game 1, Tyler Duncan had 1 hit but 3 strikeouts. And in Game 4, Tyler Duncan had 0 hits and 3 strikeouts. Although that was against London Majors' top pitcher, Victor Payano. It's not great to see your best player striking out 3 times in each game through the playoffs, as well as a strikeout at his first at-bat here today.
And not quite the result that the Cardinals are looking for, but like we mentioned before, it's a long game and it is a long season ahead of us. I wouldn't take small sample sizes as an indicator of anything.
As Alvarez de Lugo tries to catch him on the far side, but Tyler Duncan watched it by and gets ahead on the count to 2-1. Right down the middle, and Duncan tries to catch Alvarez de Lugo outside the strike zone. De Lugo does not fall for it, and evens the count out 2-2 on the Hamilton Cardinals' top hitter.
With 2 outs, DeCastro will be running as soon as that pitch is delivered. See if he can make anything of it.
And De Lugo doesn't even give him a chance and retires the inning for the London Majors to get their chance at the at-bat.
You know, just from where I'm sitting, that one looked a little outside, but DeOlio, great job at framing that pitch. There's a reason he is beloved not just by the fans, but by his teammates, especially by the pitchers on that Majors staff.
Showing why DeOlio is one of the best catchers in the league, and returning after an all-star season for the London Majors. As we head into the bottom of the inning.
Looks like it will be a new pitcher on the mound. Now with those specialty alternate jerseys of the Cardinals, we're just trying to take a look at who that might be.
And it is the former MLBer, Fernando Rodney. Fernando Rodney was a 17-year major leaguer, played for 11 teams, the Detroit Tigers, Tampa Bay Rays, Seattle Mariners, Los Angeles Angels, Oakland Athletics, Arizona Diamondbacks, Minnesota Twins, Miami Marlins, Washington Nationals, San Diego Padres, and the Chicago Cubs. This guy has some pitches under his belt.
I'm in absolute shock. I didn't think we'd see Rodney here today. Yes, it is just an exhibition game. The kids may not recognize the name, but the teachers certainly do. Fernando Rodney, a 3-time All-Star, 2019 World Series champ. And hey, let's take a look down memory lane at his MLB career across 17 seasons. A 3.8 ERA, has struck out 943 batters, 48 wins to his name, 327 saves. This is history in the making.
Fernando Rodney retired in 2019 from the MLB, has continued playing baseball throughout the 5 years he's been absent from the MLB. Most recently played for Gigantes del Cabo in Santo Domingo, Dominican, where he's from. But Fernando Rodney has come back to North American baseball to try and put out these London Majors.
Leading off for your
His
Majors,
very
the
first
designated hitter,
appearance
number
in
34,
the
Adrian
IBL with
Harrison.
in the bottom of the 3rd inning in the very first exhibition game of the season.
We have a new face up to bat for the London Majors. Adrian Harrison most recently played for St. Clair's College. Brand new face on the London Majors lower half of the batting order.
The designated hitter for today's contest. Batted .342. Had 14 runs scored, 13 hits across 15 games. And of course, 9 RBIs last season with St. Clair College. His first year with the Saints. Looking to make an impact. Batting in the 8th hole today up against one of baseball's best.
Fernando Rodney with the second strike of his first at bat, showing that he's still got some gas in that arm at 48 years old. That's called the love of the game, Josh. And he strikes him out clean for the first out of his IBL career.
Not only first out, first strikeout of his IBL career, Fernando Rodney. He is all business. No time for celebrations for the big man. I mean, 48 years old. He's seen it all. He's done it all. He's struck out many a batter in his career. For him, this is just business as usual.
Another returning face in the lower half of the batting order. Charlie Bowman coming back to the London Majors for this exhibition game. Charlie Bowman had a decent season as he flies it out to Fernando Rodney, who gets the assist and puts out his second batter.
Fernando Rodney on an IBL field. I never thought I'd say that sentence. This is a history-making moment. And for Fernando Rodney, it's just Friday. It's just another day on the mound. As now,
Number 39, Jagan.
it looks like pinch hitter Jagan Chanderdat will be stepping in against Fernando Rodney.
And he flies it out to the infield. Tanner Rempel calling it out and retires the inning for the Hamilton Cardinals in quick fashion.
3 up, 3 down. Solid start for Fernando Rodney.
Tanner Rempel playing very reserved over at first base, collecting a ton of putouts so far with flyouts, calling off the ball, not making any mistakes, and retires the inning quickly for the Hamilton Cardinals as we conclude the third inning.
And I will say that things are just getting started here in this matchup. Still nothing. A real pitcher's duel as we head into the 4th inning.
You're watching Hamilton Cardinals lose 1-0.
If there's guys on base, I'm trying to create the situation in my head. Corey Hunter taught me that. Create it in your mind, where you're throwing the ball, what you're doing in this situation. When it happens, you're just reacting. Defense, you can always make a play. You always have an opportunity. You never know what ball's going to get hit to you. It's always a good feeling when you're running down balls for your pitcher. You look forward to running balls and robbing home runs. Nothing more satisfying than making a diving play or a big play.
Go beyond the scores and get to know the athletes who call the Forest City home.
Joseph crushes one.
Game Day London brings you in-depth stories and conversations about London's major teams and the athletes. Whether it's in the rink with the Knights or on the field with the Majors, Game Day London has you covered from the start. For fresh and engaging sports coverage, visit GameDayLondon.com, a proud sponsor of MajorsTV.
Welcome to Labatt Park in London, Ontario, the world's oldest baseball grounds. Now through Labor Day, book your guided tour and walk the same field as Ty Cobb, Fergie Jenkins, Honus Wagner, and some of baseball's most legendary players. View artifacts from over the years inside the original 1940 clubhouse. Experience baseball history in London, Ontario. Book your guided tour at labattparktours.ca.
Welcome back to Labatt Memorial Park. Here, I'm Cam Sterling, joined by Josh Alderman for the 4th inning of this London Majors contest against the Hamilton Cardinals in this exhibition 2025 season. So we see Julie Vittini coming up for the Hamilton Cardinals for his second at-bat of the game. Puts it into center field, and a routine play by Toby Simmons gets the first out of the inning.
No trouble at all for Simmons and Alvarez de Lugo. Pretty routine there, but Vittini showing off power early on in his IBL career.
Toby Simmons showing that speed on offense and defense throughout his first season with the London Majors, getting multiple outfield plays so far in this game, making it look easy out there in center field. So we see Josh Williams, who collected a double in his first at-bat, fouls it out for the first strike of the at-bat.
Williams, as I mentioned earlier, spent 3 years of his IBL career here in London before joining the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers for last season, and showed no signs of rust. Looked very comfortable back here at Labatt Memorial in his first at-bat, blasting a double up into center field. Now, we are over halfway through this one. 7 innings. We are moving quite quickly. 7 innings is when this game will end. We're not going the distance. We're not going to 9. It is an exhibition game. It is a school day game. So we'll be wrapping up at the end of the 7th inning.
Josh Williams puts it into deep left. And Mike rounding first. And he gets put out at second base. Josh Williams, not a huge speed threat as we saw before. Tries to be ambitious, gets to second base, and a great play by Tristan Osika to put him out for the second out of the inning.
And Cam, that is the definition of a bang-bang play. Bowman to Fajardo to Osika, catches Williams, I don't want to say napping, but jogging, perhaps.
So we see Tanner Rempel coming back on for the Hamilton Cardinals. Had a single at his first at-bat. Puts it into infield, and Osika makes another clean play to retire the inning for the London Majors.
Well, that was pretty quick. 3 up, 3 down. Alvarez de Lugo is nothing if not efficient. Pounds the strike zone and almost encourages batters to take swings at balls that they really shouldn't, leading to pop-outs like the one that you just saw.
Yeah, playing almost psychological out there on the mound for Alvarez de Lugo. Not putting the ball anywhere in threat. It was a not incredible play by Josh Williams. Could have been a decent single. Kept the inning going for the Hamilton Cardinals. So that was not a fantastic play by Alvarez de Lugo, but great defense by Charlie Moman, taking a diving play to get it to second in time. But overall, great spots for Alvarez de Lugo through the first 2 innings of his Majors career.
You know what? I gotta respect Williams for going for it again. He got the double the first time up. He's obviously trying to incorporate a little more aggressive base running into his game. You love to see it, but that just really wasn't the time for it.
It's put in a good spot, but just better defense by Charlie Bowman, getting it into the infield quick. And as we said before, Tristan Osika, always a trustworthy guy at second base. Makes the right moves, makes the right plays at the right time, and was able to put Josh Williams out.
And it looks like we've got a new pitcher on the mound for the Cardinals, number 26, Logan Workington from Domaine, Manitoba, just 24 years old. Another one of those young college prospects picked up by the Cardinals as they look to revamp their roster heading into this new season.
Yeah, Hamilton Cardinals lost a good amount of big pieces like all-star Takaki Iguchi, and they needed to make some replacements in that pitching core, although it was very good, very stacked team last year on the pitching core. They lost some key guys, and Logan Workington could be that big replacement that they needed.
Center fielder, number 24, Toby.
Well, leading things
Toby
off here.
Simmons back up to bat. Toby Simmons got struck out in the first at bat. Wasn't able to make a huge offensive push in his first at bat as a Major. Has the opportunity against rookie Logan Workington. I did mention Takaki Iguchi being left off the roster as inactive as he goes to play in Korea, but the Cardinals also lost Mizuki Akatsuka, who was another all-star pitcher that for the Hamilton Cardinals last year. Those are two big holes that the Cardinals needed to fill, and they could have done that with people like Workington, Enriquez, and Fernando Rodney.
Really adding some depth. Some veterans, some college kids, some former prospects. A very, very good balanced offseason from the Cardinals. We'll have to see how that plays out for them as the regular season gets started.
Toby Simmons gets caught looking on the top left corner of the strike zone. Makes it a 3-1 count. Simmons staying composed at home plate and checks his swing.
No, didn't go.
And gets walked.
Now stepping up to the plate for your major.
Now, normally a walk is something that a hitter celebrates, but dare I say Simmons looked a little frustrated with that one. He seemed bothered by that call, kind of frustratedly threw his gear down. Maybe not the result he was looking for.
Toby Simmons, a huge threat for on-base running as a huge speedster. Gets on base a lot, but once he's at first base, that's where he really shines. And Francisco Fajardo puts that into deep right field. And Toby Simmons looking to steal second. And gets there. As the sacrifice fly by Fajardo gets Simmons to second base.
A great catch there by Yoki Pena. Out there in right field, the Montreal native almost lost it in the sun, lost his hat in the process, but was able to come up with the ball, got the throw in time, but not in time to hold Simmons at first. So now this is a dangerous situation.
This could be a problem for Logan Workington, one of the biggest power hitters on this Majors roster. Eduardo Diolio with a speedster like Toby Simmons in scoring position. As Toby Simmons tries to steal third.
Oh.
And it gets called out as the second out for the Hamilton Cardinals is called.
That's a tough call right there. That really could have gone either way. Simmons had a good lead, had a good jump as soon as the pitch left Logan Workington's hand, but it just wasn't enough. Great throw by Vittini to pick him off.
And it's in the dirt for the first ball of the at-bat.
Yeah, you can see some of the kids aren't so pleased with that call. Calling for VAR, but alas, that's not available here in the IBL, especially in an exhibition game.
Eduardo Diolio puts it deep.
Oh!
And it's out of here! Eduardo Diolio with a home run in the first home game at Labatt Memorial Park. That is all the way in the trees, Josh.
That is gone. Hasn't just left the confines of Labatt Memorial Park into the outfield. Beyond that light pole out there, you see kids trying to go find it. That is gone.
If you're playing MLB The Show, that is a perfect hit, ladies and gentlemen. Eduardo Diolio gets a home run and puts the London Majors up 1-0 in the bottom of the fourth.
Now, I think we got just as confused as the Cardinals, as the fans, because Jaden Brown looked like he was tracking it in the outfield, was drifting like it was a regular pop-up. And, I mean, hey, I can speak for myself. I didn't want to get too excited. I'm like, okay, Brown's got it. He's ranging over. He's going to grab it. But, no, that one was gone. Perfect from Eddie Diolio.
As another huge power hitter for the London Majors is back up to bat. Byron Reichstein, the elder statesman of the team, picked up 6 home runs last year. Could be a possibility.
Now, funny enough, where I mentioned that replay isn't quite available, yes, it is an exhibition game, so we won't have any replay reviews, but turns out, come the regular season, we will. Toby Simmons, though, nothing he can do about it right now.
Had the possibility to be put up 2-0 instead of 1-0 with that home run by Diolio. But Simmons gets retired at third base trying to steal as we have a full count for Workington with Byron Reichstein up to bat. Byron Reichstein picked up a double in the first inning. And he's retired by Workington. And the Cardinals get out of here with a few scrapes as the London Majors lead 1-0 heading into the 5th inning.
good bounce back from Workington, but there's no denying that that home run from Eddie DeOlio has really shaken this game up. Just 3 innings of play left to go. DeOlio has just changed the game.
Eduardo DeOlio picked up a home run in the last matchup against Hamilton in a 4-1 playoff victory. Picks up another one here in the bottom of the 4th. You're watching Hamilton Cardinals versus London Majors on Majors TV, brought to you by the Factory and the Clubhouse at 100 Kellogs Lane.
Welcome to Labatt Park in London, Ontario, the world's oldest baseball grounds. Now through Labor Day, book your guided tour and walk the same field as Ty Cobb, Fergie Jenkins, Honus Wagner, and some of baseball's most legendary players. View artifacts from over the years inside the original 1940 clubhouse. Experience baseball history in London, Ontario. Book your guided tour at labattparktours.ca.
Go beyond the scores and get to know the athletes who call the Forest City home.
Joseph crushes one.
Game Day London brings you in-depth stories and conversations about London's major teams and the athletes. Whether it's in the rink with the Knights or on the field with the Majors, Game Day London has you covered from the start. For fresh and engaging sports coverage, visit GameDayLondon.com, a proud sponsor of Majors TV.
And we're back for the top of the 5th as we have a new pitcher on the mound for the London Majors. Local pitcher Jared Lund from London, Ontario, returning on the mound for the London Majors.
The local hero entering his 5th season with the London Majors. Last season had a pretty solid start, but cratered off towards the end. A 6 ERA, had 1 win, struck out 16, and walked 9 batters across 16 innings of pitching.
Throws that one in the dirt as Yoki Pena is up to bat for the Hamilton Cardinals, and that's a 2-1 count. Puts it into shallow left as Ty Mosher makes the play to first, and Brad Verhoeven gets the first out for the London Majors.
Pretty quick play there, sends Pena back to the bench.
A lot of returning faces in the infield for the London Majors with Ty Mosher, Tristan Osika, and Brad Verhoeven having that predetermined chemistry. Mosher makes a clean play in the shallow infield and gets it to Verhoeven in time. And up next for the Hamilton Cardinals, we got Nico Kikados for his second at-bat of the game.
And looking at these two teams, Majors, Cardinals, it's a tale of two very, very different teams. The Majors went with what they know, went with players that have been around for a while, that are used to this ballpark, that are used to this clubhouse. The Cardinals just completely revamped almost 90% of their roster. And so far, small sample size, but the Majors method seems to be working.
Yeah, Hamilton Cardinals made a lot of moves, especially in the position players. The only real returning players are Ricky DeCastro and Tyler Duncan, I believe, and Tanner Rempel. As we see Nico Kikados swinging and missing for the second strike of the at-bat. Jared Lund, the first at-bat gets him swinging again, and the first out of Jared Lund's 2025 career is recorded.
That was a mean fastball, and Kikados just couldn't catch up to it in time. He's a great batter in his own right. Showed it off last year with the Weyburn Beavers in the WCBL. But Jared Lund just 23 years old, but already entering his 5th IBL season. A veteran presence out there on the mound, getting it done. And now 2 outs in the top of the 5th.
Up next, we got Nick Veloci. Nick Veloci, the McMaster Marauders MVP for 2 straight years. Played 4 years with the McMaster Marauders. Got struck out by Ricardo Alvarez de Lugo in his first at-bat as a Hamilton Cardinal. As Jared Lund evens out the count here with 2 outs to go in the top of the 5th.
Veloci, like we mentioned, had a fantastic slash line last season. Looking to translate that into the IBL.
As it's put into play, Nick Veloci gets his first hit as a Hamilton Cardinal.
He's looking very pleased with himself, talking things over with the first base coach. He is looking very, very happy with that and chatting up Brad Verhoeven up there at first base. He is a speed threat, though. Last season, Veloci stole 17 bases across regular and postseason. Jared Lund, though, is going to have to keep an eye on him.
Up next for the Hamilton Cardinals is Jaden Brown, who also got struck out by Ricardo Alvarez de Lugo. Jared Lund gets him swinging again for an 0-1 count. But Jaden Brown brings a lot of offensive versatility that we didn't really get to see at his first at-bat. Jaden Brown batting .365 with 8 home runs and 43 RBIs with over 1,000 OPS. And Jared Lund gets it to Brad Verhoeven quick. Nick Veloci a little bit ambitious on the base path.
That was a mean pickoff. And
a little ambitious from the rookie Hamilton Cardinal. A little bit too far on the base path. And the chemistry from Jared Lund and Brad Verhoeven shows, retiring the first half of the inning.
First base coach of the Cardinals still arguing the call. Veloci has resigned himself to the pickoff. He's headed back to the dugout, but we're still getting a debate, a little back and forth from Corey, the first base coach for the Cardinals, and the infield umpire. Looks like things have been resolved, so we're going to get back to the way things should be, back to baseball. Now, I don't know if we can get a camera out there in the outfield, but for the past few minutes we have been seeing school children out in that left field by one of the light poles right past where Eddie Diolio's home run left the building. And of course, I don't think the kids quite know it like we do. That thing is gone, but you can still see kids trying to climb the fence, trying to search for it, get a little souvenir for themselves.
If you're in downtown London and find a baseball on the street, that was hit by Eduardo Diolio in the bottom of the 4th.
That had enough power. I think it may have disrupted some traffic on the streets a couple blocks back.
I believe we have a new pitcher on the mound for the Hamilton Cardinals. I can't quite tell who it is.
As the fans now bringing up the energy levels once again, singing along to the YMCA. I've seen kids trying to start the wave even as early as the first inning. Kids going absolutely crazy, but you love to see it. If we can get a shot of the crowd, these kids are just having a time of their lives. You love to see that.
I believe the man on the mound is Owen Boone, heading on for the Hamilton Cardinals.
Owen Boone is a familiar
former
face
London
around these
Major,
parts.
beloved pitcher for the London Majors back in 2023.
Let's keep that energy up as we welcome number 29.
Not just that, this is his 9th year in the IBL. His last 8 seasons have been right here in Labatt Memorial Park. 3.52 ERA, 40 wins, 20 losses, 567 strikeouts compared to 170 walks across 494 innings pitched in his last 8 seasons. Just 31 years old, still strutting his stuff out there on the mound, just in a different uniform.
Puts it into shallow left. Shortstop can't quite make the play, and Osika's going to have his first hit of the game.
Now batting for your Majors. Number 13, Brad Verhoeven.
Next up is Brad Verhoeven. Up to bat for the London Majors. And it's a former teammate in Owen Boone. Owen Boone, just in his last season with the London Majors, put up 72.2 innings pitched, a 3.46 ERA, and 104 strikeouts with only 79 hits and 14 walks. The Hamilton Cardinals are getting a phenomenal hand in their new pitching corps.
Now, we talked about earlier from Eddie DeOlio, his framing of pitches. Let's talk about Giulio Vittini. The last couple pitches, the count now 0-2, has really framed things up, helping out Owen Boone, and looks like a balk is being called on Owen Boone.
As Tristan Osika heads to second base, putting a runner into scoring position. We know Brad Verhoeven is smart with the bat in his hands and gets a lot of RBIs. This is a huge threat for the Hamilton Cardinals to try and control with no outs recorded in the bottom of the fifth.
You can see Osika chatting up Ricky DeCastro.
As Brad Verhoeven sends it into shallow right. Verhoeven's getting a single in his second at-bat.
And Tanner Rempel is going to want that one back. He made an absolutely fantastic diving play. He just forgot to close his glove. That one pops out right at the last second. So instead of it being a runner on second and just one out, we've got runners on first and second with no outs. And
back up for his second at-bat is Adrian Harrison, one of the Majors who got sat down by Fernando Rodney in his IBL debut, as Harrison gets caught swinging and missing by the former Major Owen Boone.
As I mentioned before, Adrian Harrison came up clutch for the St. Clair Saints in his first season. 9 RBIs, 13 hits across 15 games played.
Late call there. Called on the left side of the strike zone. Could be questioned, but Owen Boone knows how to pick his spots and takes advantage of the rookie, Adrian Harrison. Harrison puts it into shallow center field. Double play possibility. And Tristan Osika heading for home plate. And the Majors are going to score with a sacrifice ground out. And Adrian Harrison gets to second base himself. Brad Verhoeven is going to get retired at second base with the double play possibility. But Tanner Rempel once again can't quite secure the ball, as Adrian Harrison is going to get on base with a double.
Let's face it, Verhoeven being out, that's a sacrifice the Majors are willing to make, as that puts them up 2 runs to none here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Number 39, Charlie Bowen.
Charlie Bowman back up to bat with a runner in scoring position. Bowman puts it in the gap. Harrison going for home plate. Jaden Brown fumbles it in the outfield, and Adrian Harrison scores for the second point in the inning for the London Majors, making it a 3-0 game.
Well, this was supposed to be a nice homecoming for Owen Boone. He looked locked in during some of his pitches, but things just really aren't going his way right now.
Jagan Chenderdat back up to bat. Had a fly out in the second inning to Fernando Rodney. Puts it into center. And it's fumbled by Raquelvin DeCastro, as the Majors load up first and second with Toby Simmons coming up to bat with 1 out. Only 1 out recorded. This is not a smart inning by this Hamilton Cardinals defense.
Yeah, this is just a rough defensive display here in the inning. Now the Cardinals, this is just the first exhibition game. Could be a little rusty, could be working out the kinks still, as Toby Simmons steps up to bat and will take that one. A smart
Toby
decision
Simmons slowing
from
it
the
down,
youngster.
collecting the first ball of the at-bat. Only one out recorded, so has some wiggle room. Maybe to get on base, load the bases up. And it's in the dirt for a 2-0 count. Owen Boone looking a little more shaky than we're used to seeing. And Toby Simmons watched it by for the third ball of the at-bat.
And it looks like the Cardinals are seeing some of the same things that we're seeing. It looks like Carwin Salcedo-Reyes is warming up in the bullpen right now. If he walks Simmons.
And a strike is called in the bottom of the strike zone.
If Boone walks Simmons, you got to imagine Salcedo-Reyes is coming into the game.
You need a fresh arm against the batters of the top of the London Majors order with loaded bases. And Toby Simmons is going to be walked to load the bases up with Francisco Fajardo coming up next for the London Majors.
Francisco Fajardo
Number 6.
has been, well, was a very clutch player in the Toronto Blue Jays farm system. Played in Dunedin, played in High A Vancouver. Across 3 seasons there, 35 RBIs, 4 home runs, 15 doubles, 8 triples, a .297 batting average. He is Mr. Clutch, looking to put on a show here this afternoon.
Although Fajardo has not gotten on base yet, he has had a ground out and a sacrifice fly throughout his first 2 at-bats. This could be dangerous for the Hamilton Cardinals if he's able to get a hold of this bat and put the ball into play. And the ball's thrown into the ground. Vittini recovers it fairly quickly. Doesn't allow any steals.
If nothing else, those 2 early outs from Fajardo shows that he has good contact, that he's starting to adapt to IBL pitching and is just his first exhibition game. Promising signs for the youngster.
Owen Boone fumbles it at the mound for an easy play. And Adrian Harrison is going to score.
And now the kids attendance.
That is Charlie Bowman scoring at home plate off the error by Owen Boone. And this is where we get dangerous territory, folks. Eduardo Diolio picking up a home run just 2 innings ago with bases loaded. This could be problematic for the Hamilton Cardinals.
The kids in attendance chanting bases loaded. I'm surprised the Cardinals haven't hooked Boone out of the game, but that decision may prove costly.
A strike on the left-hand side of the strike zone caught Eduardo Diolio looking. Diolio fouls it into the stands. And it's an 0-2 count with only 1 out recorded.
Looks like that'll be a nice souvenir for a kid.
$4-0 for the London Majors with one of their most dangerous bats up against Owen Boone. Diolio puts it into play. And another error by Raquelbin de Castro as Toby Simmons and Jagan Chanderdat are able to score to put the London Majors up 6-0.
Look at that score. Majors are winning.
Wow. A comedy of errors here in this inning for the Hamilton Cardinals. Things just keep going in the Majors' way. And yeah, it looks like Owen Boone is going to get the hook here.
Tough homecoming for Owen Boone. Letting up, I believe it was 4 runs here in the bottom of the 5th with Carwin Reyes Salcedo warming up in the bullpen for the Hamilton Cardinals.
No, they're keeping Boone in.
Oh, they're giving Owen Boone another chance on the mound. As we saw, this is a lot of errors from the Hamilton Cardinals defense. Can't quite keep possession of the ball, make the smart play with bases loaded.
I get he's an experienced guy. I get he knows this ballpark, but this is not the time to practice things out. It's an exhibition game. Get your players in, get them a little work. Not a good choice.
And Eduardo Diolio is going to steal for second, putting 2 runners in scoring position as Tyler Mosher swings and misses to an 0-1 count against Owen Boone.
Great speed shown from Eddie Diolio. Not something we see from the big man too often, but a delight for the Majors fans.
Mosher gets caught swinging again for an 0-2 count, with still only 1 out recorded in the bottom of the 5th and 2 runners in scoring position. Hamilton Cardinals are nowhere near out of it yet. And just left of home plate as Ty Mosher collects his first ball of the at-bat.
So, fun fact time. In his last 2 seasons with the London Majors, Eduardo Diolio has not recorded a stolen base. This may be an exhibition game, but perhaps a sign of Diolio turning a new leaf entering the season, practicing his base running, practicing his speed, his agility. He had a great jump there. Something to look out for as this season goes on.
Even count for Owen Boone. Puts it into contact as Owen Boone retires it at first base, but lets Fajardo score. Gets the second out of this inning with Tristan Osika back up to bat. Putting Eduardo Diolio in third to score his second run of the game.
The speedster, Eduardo Diolio.
Proven speedster at third base with a very consistent offensive producer in Tristan Osika. Looking to keep this inning going with a 7-0 lead for the London Majors as Owen Boone puts it in the dirt for the first ball.
Yeah, I just really didn't like that read from Owen Boone. Look towards second when he should have been looking home. Limit the damage, keep things in check. Got the force out at first, but just wasn't enough.
As a gets caught looking, Osika has the first strike of his at-bat with Owen Boone evening out the count. Osika puts it into play right in the gap. Osika running first as Diolio scores. And Osika plays it patient, stays for a single. And the Majors make it an 8-0 game, scoring 6 runs in the bottom of the 5th.
So a 2-out RBI single for Tristan Osika. A great throw in from center field by Tyler Duncan. Really held him there at first. He's got wheels. He could go to second. Really, that ball on any other player against any other center fielder really would have been a double, but Duncan got great power in both the bat and the arm. Holds him right there, and yeah, that's going to be it for Owen Boone here today.
And Owen Boone had his second chance, but through a 6-run inning for the London Majors, he is going to get booted for Carwin Salcedo Reyes.
Salcedo Reyes, Montreal, are just 21 years old. Spent last season with the Dunedin Blue Jays. Didn't quite have the best record though across 13 innings pitched. Put up a 10 ERA, 1 win, but walked 13 batters, gave up 16 earned runs. Did strike out 16, so it looks like, looking at some of his old footage, looking at some of his old box scores, he's got a lot of he's got some heat and he's got a lot of curve. He just hasn't quite learned how to manage that breaking ball, keep it in control. But being with this Cardinals team, veteran pitchers and a great pitching staff, coaching and roster-wise, that's a good place to learn.
A little bit of a boomer bust arm, really.
Yeah.
He has like 16 strikeouts through 13.1 innings of pitch. That's not too bad, but considering 16 earned runs in those 13 innings, he's got to find some consistency here with the Hamilton Cardinals.
Hamilton's a great place to do it, though. Plenty of players to learn from, plenty of coaches to help him along the way.
And I believe his first at-bat is going to be up against the utility knife, Brad Verhoeven, with Tristan Osika still on first. Has a chance to retire the inning with 2 outs recorded so far by Owen Boone.
Now pitching for the Cardinals.
As Brad Verhoeven coming up to bat.
Once again batting for your Majors. Please welcome to the plate number 13, Brad Verhoeven.
Brad Verhoeven recording a single in his last at-bat. Got retired at second base during the huge row of singles for the London Majors earlier in this inning as it's fouled down the right line.
So we just got some breaking news here in the booth. Supposedly the last pitcher that was up for the Cardinals wasn't actually Owen Boone, just someone who had borrowed Owen Boone's jersey for the day. That's the IBL for you, folks. You never know what to expect.
Well, I don't think he's going to be putting on that Owen Boone jersey anytime soon after he just let up 6 runs against the London Majors in his Hamilton Cardinals debut. Still is a mystery to who that player was.
I'm sure we'll find out eventually.
But he is replaced by Carmen Salcedo Reyes up against Brad Verhoeven with a 1-1 count here in the bottom of the 5th.
Good power, good distance on that one, but just
Can't
drifts
quite
foul.
keep it in play. With a 1-2 count, Salcedo Reyes sends it for Brad Verhoeven, who fouls it off again, making the Hamilton Cardinals rookie work for this last out in the bottom of the 5th. Brad Verhoeven. Chip comes off the bat and fouls it for another foul ball. That's Salcedo Reyes. He's still working for this last out in the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, that absolutely shattered the end of Verhoeven's bat all across the infield. And if anything, that's a testament to some of the power that Salcedo Reyes brings to these Cardinals. Good stuff early on from the youngster. See if he can maintain it in this 0-2 count.
Brad Verhoeven doing a good job with making contact. Can't quite get it into play. Tiring out Salcedo Reyes. And he takes the ball for an even count, 2-2. Verhoeven collects his composure for a 2-2 count. Tristan Osika still at first base. With a good extra base hit from Brad Verhoeven, this game could be made a 9-0 game. Or Salcedo Reyes could get his first out as a Hamilton Cardinal as Verhoeven puts it into play. Osika rounding second as Verhoeven gets his second single of the game.
Osika, not much of a speed threat normally, only has 7 stolen bases in his last 4 seasons, but shows off the wheels there. What could have easily just been, hey, walk up slowly to second. No, he made that one count. Got all the way down to third, and now it's runners on the corners with 2 outs for Adrian Harrison.
Brad Verhoeven, so smart with the bat in his hands, puts it right into the gaps whenever the Majors need, and gets Osika into scoring position, continuing this everlasting bottom of the 5th. As Osika is going to get a run to make this 9-0 with a stray pitch from Carmen Salcedo Reyes, part of the tiring foul balls presented by Brad Verhoeven. Salcedo Reyes has not been able to get composure due to all the contact caused by Verhoeven, and he suffers the price from that wild pitch.
And
as Adrian Harrison is going to foul it to the left.
Yep. Like we were mentioning before, Salcedo Reyes, with his time in the Jays farm system, really struggled with control. His breaking ball is wild. It's effective when he can harness it. It just really hasn't been working for him. Hopefully something he can turn around in the future.
Adrian Harrison was able to get on base, cruising an RBI, getting Osika to home. Has great batting average from St. Clair College, batting .342. With Brad Verhoeven in scoring position in it, this inning is anything but over with a 2-1 count. And it's a little bit high as Adrian Peterson is going to get his third ball.
Well, it doesn't look like there's anyone warming up in the Cardinals bullpen just yet. It shows that Chris Piano and the rest of his staff have faith in Salcedo Reyes to just close out the inning.
And it's another high ball from Carwin Salcedo Reyes. And Adrian Harrison is going to collect the walk, putting another Majors batter on base.
Number 95, Charlie Bowman.
Charlie Bowman back up to bat. He scored earlier this inning. Getting batted in by Eduardo Diolio.
And I gotta say, great work from Vittini, taking that second to go up, talk to Salcedo Reyes, try and get his pitcher back under control, and just get out of this everlasting inning.
The run scored in this inning by the London Majors is up to 7 now, with Brad Verhoeven in scoring position at second. Charlie Bowman fouls that into left field for the first strike of the at-bat.
Osika fakes, stealing third there. Had Salcedo Reyes hesitating, had him tripping there. Throws him off his game and he ends up throwing a ball there.
Salcedo Reyes needs to find his composure with a walk and several foul balls thrown his way. He's got to get these Hamilton Cardinals out of this inning. As a strike is called for a 1-2 count for the Hamilton Cardinals, just one strike away from putting an end to this fifth inning.
After a tough inning of pitching from the imposter Owen Boone and now Salcedo Reyes, just one more strike can get them out of this bottom of the fifth inning.
And it's thrown in the dirt as Brad Verhoeven is going to steal third, and Adrian Harrison is going to steal second, putting two more runners into scoring position for the London Majors.
Well, that's the good old IBL announcer's curse. Of course, when we start talking about how Salcedo Reyes has troubles with his control, of course, right here in this inning, having trouble with his control, Vittini not able to hold on to it, advances the runners, and now a 2-2 count with 2 outs.
And Charlie Bowman is going to get hit by a pitch. As Hamilton Cardinals do have another pitcher warming up in the bullpen, but Jagan Chenderdat is coming up to bat with bases loaded for the 4th time in this inning. Hamilton Cardinals cannot get out of this 5th inning.
Yeah, that was a hard hit. Charlie Bowman doesn't look shaken up, though. Credit to him. Now, Jagan Chenderdat with the bases loaded. Chance to do a little something here. Add a little more to the lead.
Strike is called on the left side of the strike zone, putting up an 0-1 count for Salcedo Reyes. And Chanderdat fouls that into the netting for the second strike, putting the Hamilton Cardinals once again one strike away.
Dragon Chanderdat in his time with the Majors hasn't quite shown much power, but he has shown good contact on display right there with that foul.
And it's going to be above the strike zone. Put up the first ball for Chanderdat. Brad Verhoeven and Adrian Harrison in scoring position for the Majors, and Charlie Bowman on first as well. The bases are loaded with Toby Simmons up next. And it's going to be a strikeout for Salcedo Reyes. And Chanderdat is
Usually we would be doing this
struck out for the first time of this game.
innings today.
And the Hamilton Majors put an end of the once again everlasting fifth inning, where 7 runs were scored for the London Majors, and we have a 9-0 game here at Labatt Memorial Park.
A tough inning for the Hamilton Cardinals, but hey, still a couple innings left to go. This game will only go 7 innings. Still plenty of time for the Cardinals to turn this one around.
You're watching Hamilton Cardinals versus London Majors on MajorsTV, brought to you by the Factory and the Clubhouse at 100 Kellogg Lane.
Welcome to Labatt Park in London, Ontario, the world's oldest baseball grounds. Now through Labor Day, book your guided tour and walk the same field as Ty Cobb, Fergie Jenkins, Honus Wagner, and some of baseball's most legendary players. View artifacts from over the years inside the original 1940 clubhouse. Experience baseball history in London, Ontario. Book your guided tour at Labatt Park Tours.
Go beyond the scores and get to know the athletes who call the Forest City home.
Joseph crushes one.
Game Day London brings you in-depth stories and conversations about London's major teams and the athletes. Whether it's in the rink with the Knights or on the field with the Majors, Game Day London has you covered from the start. For fresh and engaging sports coverage, visit GameDayLondon.com, a proud sponsor of MajorsTV.
If there's guys on base, I'm trying to create the situation in my head. Corey Hunter taught me that. Create it in your mind, where you're throwing the ball, what you're doing in this situation. When it happens, you're just reacting. Defense, you can always make a play. You always have an opportunity. You never know what ball's going to get hit to you. It's always a good feeling when you're running down balls for your pitcher. You look forward to running balls and robbing home runs. Nothing more satisfying than making a diving play or a big play.
Welcome back to MajorsTV, where we have a bit of a landslide inning coming out of the 5th with a 9-0 game as the Majors have to deal with Jaden Brown up to bat for the Hamilton Cardinals. Jaden Brown hasn't been able to get going with a strikeout and a pop-out so far in his 2 at-bats of the game. A huge offensive player for the Hamilton Cardinals, who hasn't been able to show it here today. See Jared Lund back on the mound for the London Majors. And Jaden Brown puts it into left, right down the line, rounding first. Bowman gets it in time, and Jaden Brown's going to be stopped at second for a double, and his first extra base hit of the game.
That had some heat to it. Plenty of power in that swing. And if you're the Cardinals, you just got to keep doing that if you want to have a chance of evening up this game, maybe even getting the lead back. Great double there from Jaden Brown.
Jaden Brown, one of the biggest free agent signings for this Hamilton Cardinals offense. Shows why he was signed with an extra base hit in his second at-bat. Now Ricky DeCastro up to bat for the Hamilton Cardinals has not been his normal self on the defensive side, with a couple of errors in the 5th inning, which the Majors were able to capitalize with. 7 runs scored. See if DeCastro can be a bit more productive on the offensive side.
Well, if there ever was a time to do it, now is that time. And of course, as soon as I say that, takes a big hack at that pitch. 1-1 count.
Kelvin DeCastro has performed fairly well in previous matchups against the London Majors, like in Game 3 in the 10-9 loss. He collected 3 hits and a run scored. Hasn't had that same production for the Hamilton Cardinals here today, but with a runner in scoring position, anything's possible. Diolio tries to catch Brown at third base, and he gets called safe as Jaden Brown gets his first stolen base as a Hamilton Cardinal.
It looks like Ty Mosher, even though the throw from Diolio was on time, just couldn't hold on to it, couldn't quite get the tag down right in time. Tough call there, but a great opportunity for the Cardinals. Now you got a runner on third, no outs, and a whole inning in front of you.
Looked like the ball got caught in Eduardo Diolio's padding. Couldn't quite get control of it. Did get the throw in time, but the Hamilton Cardinals are able to get a runner further into scoring position.
DeCastro, looking at last season's stats, regular and post combined, had 5 RBIs, 4 doubles, 10 runs scored, 281 batting average, so he's no stranger to danger. He has come up clutch before.
Full count for Jared Lund. Kelvin DeCastro looking to get on base for the first time in this game. And he's going to foul it left, keeping this at-bat going.
And that one was riding the line up towards third base. You can see Brown jumping out of the way, but it just didn't stay in, so it'll go back to being a full count.
And Jared Lund is going to throw a little bit too outside, and DeCastro is going to get his second walk of the game.
Well, we talked about being no stranger to danger. This is a dangerous situation for the Majors because we got players on the corner, runners, I should say, on the corners, and a dangerous player up there at the plate, Tyler Duncan.
Tyler Duncan hasn't been the same productive hitter that we've seen throughout the entire season of last year, with 2 strikeouts throughout the game so far, as Lund is going to get the first strike of the at-bat.
I mean, we can't not mention his accolades. An all-star last year, MVP in 2023, home run derby winner last year at the all-star game as well. He's got power, and hey, now's the time to show it off.
Little bit too outside for Jared Lund, and it's going to be the first ball of the count for Tyler Duncan.
Well, Jared Lund has shown no rust. He is right back into the swing of things, right back to where he was last season. Really back to his usual self. Tyler Duncan, not quite there yet.
Sends it into shallow left field. Charlie Bowman fumbles the ball as Jaden Brown's going to score, and Kelvin DeCastro is going to be able to get to third base.
Tyler Duncan able to slide into second safely with an RBI double here in the top of the 6th inning.
Hamilton Cardinals putting up the first point of the game, making it a 9-1 game as Jaden Brown's able to score after getting on base with a double. And the Hamilton Cardinals now have 2 runners in scoring position, 2 of their best runners in Ricky DeCastro and Tyler Duncan. As Jared Lund is going to have a meeting on the mound.
Now, let me just say, that's the Tyler Duncan we know and love. That's the Tyler Duncan that IBL's pitchers have come to fear. It's good to see him getting back into the swing of things. This is just the first exhibition game of the season. We're not even at the regular season just yet, but he's got those fundamentals back down. And like I said right earlier in the game, it's a long game, it's a long season. Plenty of time for Duncan to turn things around.
Julie Vittini coming up for his 3rd at-bat of the game. Suffered a ground out and a fly out in his 2 first at-bats. Hasn't been able to get on base. Puts it into shallow center field for Fajardo, and he can't get possession of the ball as Ricky DeCastro is going to score for the Cardinals, making it a 9-2 game. And Julie Vittini is going to get on base for the first time in this game against the London Majors.
Well, we talked plenty of times over about the Cardinals' defensive issues last inning. Maybe the Majors are starting to feel those jitters too.
Yep, a bobble by Charlie Bowman in the outfield on the Tyler Duncan double, and a bobble by Francisco Fajardo on a routine ground-out play on Julie Vittini. Tough blows for this London Majors defense, putting up 2 runs for the Hamilton Cardinals so far in this inning with 0 outs recorded. They got to dig themselves out of this hole. As Andrew Johnston has come up to bat as the DH, replacing Josh Williams, who recorded 2 doubles but got caught on one of them at second base. Andrew Johnston, one of the few returning position players for the Hamilton Cardinals. Usually plays catcher, came in for DH here today, batted 189 last year with 3 home runs and 8 RBIs. With an OPS of 794, clearly an offensive threat, coming in as a pinch hitter for this Hamilton Cardinals team with a runner in scoring position. As Jared Lund throws that one in the dirt for a 1-2 count.
I really like that move from Chris Piano there, putting Johnston in the game. He is a power hitter. It's home run or nothing. Good choice there, and he's got good vision too. He may strike out quite a bit, he may get out quite a bit, but Johnson's got a good eye, and when he finds a pitch he likes, just like Eddie DeOlio's earlier, there's no seeing that baseball ever again.
Jared Lund throws it a bit too inside. Johnston sees it with ease and makes this at bat a full count. And Andrew Johnston is going to foul that into the netting, keeping this at bat alive. Once again, Tyler Duncan in scoring position with a power hitter at bat. Dangerous territory for this London Majors defense.
And 2 very good runners on the base paths. If it gets down, I guarantee you see Vittini hit second, maybe third, and Duncan come home.
And Jared Lund retires Andrew Johnston, swinging and missing, keeping Johnston from getting on base and a possibility of Tyler Duncan scoring.
Well, it looks like Tanner Rempel is out of the game. Chris Piano reaching into his bench and picks up Brendan Daly, the Milton native, 22 years old, another returning position player, entering his 2nd year with the Cardinals. Last year, regular and postseason combined, batted .299 as he takes that one inside.
Another huge contact hitter for this Hamilton Cardinals defense. Batted .280 batting average with 0 home runs, but 8 RBIs and a .626 OPS. Clearly an offensive threat. Pinch hitting for Tanner Rempel. With a batting average of .280, this is a big threat for Tyler Duncan in scoring position.
Not to mention he picked up 2 RBIs in the postseason, bringing that total up to 10 last year. Scored 14 runs, had 26 hits, and even recorded a triple at one point. Like you mentioned, Cam, he is a fantastic contact hitter.
Yeah, and the huge blowout 16-2 victory, Brendan Daly had multiple hits. As the Majors are going to keep Tyler Duncan away from home plate with a great play by Adrian Harrison. And Brendan Daly is going to get put out quickly by this London Majors defense.
That is a very wise decision by Tyler Duncan. Reichstein's arm is not to be messed with. And that will bring up another bench player, Justin Groves from Peterborough. recently wrapped up a season with the Humber Hawks.
Justin Groves with a monster season with the Humber Hawks. Batted .472 with 1 home run and 23 RBIs. With an on-base percentage of .595 and a slugging percentage of .660 with a well over 1,100 OPS. He is a massive threat for this Hamilton Cardinals offense.
And in his last 3 seasons with the Hawks, 20 doubles, 49 RBIs, 50 runs scored, 20 stolen bases, speed, contact, and power. A 5-tool player if there ever was one.
Jared Lund maintaining an even count so far with 2 outs recorded, trying to recover this inning and prevent Tyler Duncan from putting up another point on the board, as Justin Groves is going to foul that way into the stands for a 2-2 count.
I think that may have cleared the stands entirely. Not so much a souvenir for the students in attendance, more the bus drivers waiting outside.
Justin Groves looking to minimize this lead the Majors have at 7 runs so far. Tyler Duncan still in scoring position. 2 outs recorded in the top of the 6th. And a full count for Justin Groves against Jared Lund. And Justin Groves is going to get walked at a full count by Jared Lund. And the bases are loaded for the Hamilton Cardinals. And it's going to be Nico Kakados coming in for the Hamilton Cardinals.
The 22-year-old Torontonian, plenty of pop in his bat, looking to show it off against Jared Lund and these London Majors. As we mentioned before, had a monster year last year with the Weyburn Beavers in the WCBL.
As the ball is popped out to shallow right field. And the inning is going to be retired with bases loaded for the Hamilton Cardinals. The Majors keep the score at 2 runs scored here in the top of the 6th. Majors got out of a pretty dangerous territory there for the Hamilton Cardinals. Bases loaded with one of their best base runners in scoring position at third base. That's a huge move by that London Majors defense.
I think the word that sums it all up is clutch. These Majors, while the defense was a little shaky early on, of course, letting in those 2 runs, really came back strong. Reichstein in particular, great catches to record those last 2 outs. Sorry, so amazing I lost my ability to speak. And of course, a great throw to keep Duncan there at third. Really, really great stuff from the Majors defensively, making up for those 2 earned runs.
Hamilton Cardinals making a catching switch, putting in their more trustworthy catcher in Andrew Johnston over the new Hamilton Cardinal, Julie Fattini, with a couple errors, not able to get Majors out at second base. We'll see how Andrew Johnston pays off in the bottom of the 6th with a 7-run lead.
And of course, it is school day here at Labatt Memorial Park. You can see some of the kids have started leaving. Look at all those school buses. The park is packed, capital P packed today, to the rafters, full of screaming, cheering kids who have loved every single second of this game.
As Toby Simmons is coming up for the London Majors. A dangerous player for the London Majors. Was able to score in his previous at-bat after getting walked. As we do see going back to the original catcher, Julie Fattini, coming back in for the Hamilton Cardinals.
Well, It looks like there's a new pitcher on the mound, but as is the fun part of these exhibition games, we don't know who that is. There is no 25 listed on the Cardinals roster. There's no recent transactions. Could be an international signing, could be a college student called up. So far, it's been quite an interesting game for the Cardinals pitching-wise. Of course, the imposter Owen Boone, now number 25 on the mound. We'll have to see what his stuff is looking like here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
He does have some competition there at home plate with the former Marlins minor player Toby Simmons, with 2 walks so far in this game here today. And very dangerous on the bases.
Toby Simmons, in just his first IBL contest, has shown a lot of good vision. Really taken his time, and yeah, he has shown off that speed offensively and defensively throughout this one.
And it is just right of the strike zone to take the first ball of this at-bat for Toby Simmons. Exact same spot, and Toby Simmons sees it the entire way through for the second ball.
Player X, Mr. 25, wasting little time in between these pitches and places it in the exact same spot again, trying to get Simmons to bite. But like we just talked about, Simmons, fantastic vision so far.
Toby Simmons tries it with 3-0 count, makes it a 3-1, swings and misses. And Toby Simmons is going to get walked for a 3rd time here in this game. The normally incredibly skilled Hamilton Cardinals pitching core, clearly revamped in the offseason, isn't really showing the same potential that it usually has.
Well, I think it really comes down to these game decisions. There's a lot of veteran pitchers sitting around in that bullpen, a lot of veteran pitchers warming up as player 25 tries the pickoff attempt. But Chris Piano and his staff haven't gone to any of those veteran pitchers. They've gone to younger arms, less experienced arms, who may be a little newer to this Cardinals way of pitching. It's an exhibition game. It's the time to try these kind of things, time to experiment. So can't blame them for that.
Francisco Fajardo fouls it into the netting for an 0-1 count. Fajardo did get a single in his last at-bat, part of the huge 8-run run, puts it into deep right field, and it is gone for a 2-run home run in Francisco Fajardo's first game as a London Major, making it an 11-2 game.
Just an absolute moonshot, and a great souvenir for one of the young kids patrolling the outfield. Fantastic stuff, and a big, big smile on his face as he heads back to the dugout. His teammates have all come out. They're going to congratulate him. Big high five from Eddie DeOlio. And you love to see that.
Francisco Fajardo in his entire minor league career only recorded 4 home runs with 35 or RBIs, puts one deep into right field, and gets this score to an 11-2 game for the London Majors here in the first home game of the exhibition season. Eddie DeOlio fouls it a bit to the left towards the Majors dugout.
Well, it's good to see he hasn't let up on the power just yet. Hasn't stepped off the gas. DeOlio still swinging with power, even though he has worked himself into an 0-2 count.
Eddie DeOlio, as we saw, recorded a home run and a single throughout the second and third at-bats of his game so far. And the pitch is in the dirt for a 1-2 count for Eddie DeOlio.
Well, things look promising in this at-bat for John Doe, player number 25 out there on the mound, but DeOlio looking strong.
DeOlio sends it deep into left. And it's fair as DeOlio tries to round set first, stays at first, and gets the single to put another major runner on base.
Well, we've seen earlier in this game that DeOlio is a little more aggressive in his base running. I'm surprised he didn't try and go for second, but better to go with the safe bet. Better to stay there at first, not risk anything, especially since you only have one stolen base here in this exhibition game. Your only stolen base in the last 3 seasons.
As Mosher fouls it right into the netting behind home plate. DeOlio already showed that speed with that one stolen base. Didn't have to risk the possibility of getting out at second with a 9-run lead for the London Majors. Responsibly puts another runner on base for the Majors with Ty Mosher up to bat.
But you know what? Credit where credit is due. Jaden Brown, he got fooled the first time around by DeOlio's absolute perfect home run. And this time around, tracked it, kept an eye on it, and made a wicked throw to the infield to hold DeOlio at first for the time being. Looks like it was a balk by John Doe.
Eduardo DeOlio moves to second base, putting another runner in scoring position for the London Majors. Ty Mosher sends that into center field, and it's out as Eddie DeOlio stealing third, putting a runner on third base with Tristan Osika up to bat for the Majors.
I think that at-bat did exactly what it was supposed to do. Ty Mosher sent it deep, sent it far back enough to advance DeOlio up to third with ease and put the red-hot Osika back up there at the dish. Just one out, a chance to put a couple more runs up there on the board.
Fastball right down the middle. Tristan Osika can't quite get a grip as player 25 gets the first strike of the at-bat. Osika tries to swing a little late as an 0-2 count with 1 out recorded here in the bottom of the 6th. Way outside for Julie Vittini. Got to reach out for that second ball of the at-bat, evening it out 2-2.
Well, while many of the kids have already filtered to the parade of buses we saw earlier, plenty of kids still around chanting, "Let's go Majors."
As Tristan Osika puts it right in the gap, Eddie DeOlio scores for his 3rd run of the game, and Osika is going to get an RBI double, putting the lead up 12-2.
Well, I don't want to pat myself on the back too much, but right off the top of this one, I predicted fireworks. One way or the other, these guys were going to put on a show for the kids in attendance today, and the Majors have certainly delivered on their end of the bargain, up by 10 runs here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Brad Verhoeven puts it into right field, and a great catch as Osika steals third with 2 outs recorded for the Hamilton Cardinals. Brad Verhoeven making great contact here today. Can't quite get that one down enough.
And the Cardinals infielders showing their love for Groves out there in right field. Just made an absolutely fantastic catch there and kept a surefire run off the board.
Tristan Osika moves to third base, already recording 3 hits out of 4 at-bats here today. And Adrian Harrison trying to drive in a run, puts it down the line, and it's ground. Justin Groves can't quite get possession of it, and Adrian Harrison is going to get an RBI double to put the lead up 13-2.
You know what? At this stage of the game, I think we do need to give credit to Justin Groves there. Just made an absolutely fantastic diving attempt there. really, really great stuff. Athleticism, speed on display from the youngster, but
overall perfect position for Adrian Harrison. Justin Groves made a nice catch on Brad Verhoeven. Can't quite get there for Harrison's hit. As Charlie Bowman up to bat with Harrison scoring position at second.
Well, it looks like we finally have our answer to who our mystery man on the mound is. It is Matt Skubel, one of the newer additions to this Cardinals roster. Has put on quite a good showing here. Yes, he's given up a couple runs, but his pitches look solid.
And it's into shallow right as Charlie Bowman is going to be caught at first. And the Hamilton Cardinals get out of the sixth inning with a few scratches as the lead grows from 9-2 to 13-2. And it's a pretty big hole that the Hamilton Cardinals have to crawl themselves out of.
Great, great stuff from the Majors, sending these kids home happy.
You're watching Hamilton Cardinals versus London Majors on Majors TV, brought to you by the Factory and the Clubhouse at 100 Kellogg Lane.
If there's guys on base, I'm trying to create the situation in my head. Corey Hunter told me that. Create it in your mind, where you're throwing the ball, what you're doing in this situation. When it happens, you're just reacting. Defense, you can always make a play. You always have an opportunity. You never know what ball's going to get hit to you. It's always a good feeling when you're running down balls for your pitcher. You look forward to running balls and robbing home runs. Nothing more satisfying than making a diving play or a big play.
Welcome to Labatt Park in London, Ontario, the world's oldest baseball grounds. Now through Labor Day, book your guided tour and walk the same field as Ty Cobb, Fergie Jenkins, Honus Wagner, and some of baseball's most legendary players. View artifacts from over the years inside the original 1940 clubhouse. Experience baseball history in London, Ontario. Book your guided tour at labattparktours.ca.
And we are back here at Labatt Memorial Park, brought to you by Camp Sterling and Josh Alderman. Heading into the seventh inning, where the London Majors could close this exhibition game out, going only 7 innings. And we have a new pitcher on the mound, Skylar Janice, returning to Labatt Memorial Park. One of the Majors' go-to relievers last year, put up a very solid season, recording a 2-0 record in 14 appearances and 19 innings pitched. As shots fired into the right field, and it's recovered by Charlie Bowman.
Yeah, Janice, regular and postseason combined, a 1.86 ERA. 1 save to his name, but 2 wins as well. 29 strikeouts and only walked 5 batters. He has been consistent for these London Majors, entering his 3rd season with the club.
As Jaden Brown comes back up to bat. Jaden Brown recorded a double in his last at-bat and got home by a double from Tyler Duncan, putting up one of the 2 points for the Hamilton Cardinals there in the top of the 6th. Back up to bat here in the top of the 7th. And Skylar Janice throws it into the left side of the dirt.
Now, as we mentioned before, this is just an exhibition game. So right here, this is the last half inning. If Skylar Janice can close it out, this game will be wrapped up from the Majors defensively. They will be coming up to bat again against the Cardinals just to get a little more practice in. But defensively, this is the Majors' last inning and the Cardinals' last chance to put those bats to work.
And Jaden Brown is going to get struck out by the go-to reliever, Skylar Janice. Skylar Janice incredibly consistent with his ability to strike out, recording in the regular season last year 23 strikeouts in just 19 innings. And it's back up to the top of the batting order as Ricky DeCastro comes back up for the Hamilton Cardinals, trying to get on base, use his speed to put some more points on the board. as a strike is called for an 0-1 count for Ricky DeCastro.
Well, DeCastro he's had an all right game. Maybe not defensively, but offensively. Has got to show off his speed multiple times throughout the game as he takes that one. He's got good vision as well at the plate. Saw it a lot last year in his rookie year with the Cardinals, and now it's on display again as the Cardinals need a massive offensive outpouring to try and level this one.
Yeah, Ricky DeCastro has been able to get on base twice so far with 2 walks, showing that vision on display here today. Skylar Janice with 2 strikes recorded in this at-bat has the ability to close this game out with 2 outs recorded already. Ricky DeCastro trying to keep this game alive for the Cardinals. And it's struck it out for Skylar Janice to retire the Hamilton Cardinals here in the top of the 7th.
And as you just saw there, Skylar Janice, a special kind of grin on his face, hitting Fernando Rodney's celebratory closing pose. That is a different level of cheekiness. And I'm sure that's not going to cause any problems at all. Janice, it's all fun and games. It's an exhibition game. It's a school game. You're putting on a show for the kids.
Skylar Janice, we know how deadly he can be in the end of games. One of the few pitchers on the Majors core that strictly plays reliever, doesn't start, doesn't gas him out, but boy, he is deadly when he needs to be.
And it looks like the pitcher in for the final half inning of today's contest will be Ramon Sanchez, 23-year-old righty from the Tampa Bay farm system. In 3 seasons there, a 7.69 ERA, 2 wins, 5 losses, 3 saves, 38 walks compared to 45 strikeouts. Pretty solid hand out there, and another young pitcher looking to improve their game with this Cardinals pitching staff and the coaches.
Ramon Sanchez recording 13 innings pitched in 14 appearances with a 6.23 ERA. Not incredible stats considering 13 innings pitched in 14 appearances. Has been taken out quite a bit, but recording 11 strikeouts over 6 walks. Has shown power, has shown poise on the mound throughout his limited appearances with the Tampa Bay Rays farm system. Has the opportunity against the London Majors to show some promise, which many of the members of the Hamilton Cardinals have not been able to do, and could grow his opportunity heading into the regular season.
One of the many names to look out for heading into this season is Sanchez, and with him entering the game, that almost completes the quintuplet of players from San Pedro de Macorís, Dominican Republic. Francisco Fajardo and Starling Joseph on the London Majors, along with Ricky DeCastro, Julie Bettini, and now Ramon Sanchez, all from the beautiful island nation, all from the beautiful hometown of San Pedro de Macorís.
Coming up next for the London Majors is Jagan Chandradat. Did record a single in his second at-bat, but other than that, hasn't been extremely productive. Had the opportunity with the bases loaded in the bottom of the 5th to grow this lead even more, but did get struck out. Has the opportunity to grow it even more against the rookie Hamilton Cardinal, Ramon Sanchez. As the first pitch is high above the strike zone for the first ball of the at-bat.
Well, we saw earlier in this game, Chandradat has really improved his contact from last season, putting a little more bat to ball, and a small sample size, but promising for the season going forward.
Ramon Sanchez sends another one high above the strike zone, putting the count up to 2-0 for Jagan Chandradat. And it's called a strike for a 2-1 count.
Sanchez throwing some good stuff here early. The count doesn't quite reflect that, but starting to turn things around as he gets chanted at swinging there. Count now even at 2-2. No outs here in the bottom of the 7th inning, the last inning of the game.
Jagan Chandradat played 9 games last year for the London Majors with a .214 batting average, improving that contact here today. Recorded a single in his second at-bat, as well as a flyout, maintaining that skill for contact. Has the opportunity to grow his contact and grow his role in this London Majors batting order. And another pitch is sent high by Ramon Sanchez. And Chandradat is going to be getting on base for the second time in this game.
Toby Simmons.
Well, with Chandradat now on base, that'll bring up the top of the order, Toby Simmons. He's picked up a couple walks so far in this game. I believe he hasn't quite had a hit just yet. 3 consecutive walks. Maybe looking to turn things around here in the last inning of play.
First one is a swing and a miss from a pure fastball from Ramon Sanchez.
Well, it seems like Simmons shares the same sentiment. He wants to get a hit on the board. Wants to record his first IBL.
And another strike catch. Simmons looking this time for an 0-2 count on the former Marlins minor leaguer. Another strike for Toby Simmons.
But you know
Gets
what?
the first out for the London Majors.
You know, this is a day to be proud of for Toby Simmons, his IBL debut. Not only that, he becomes the first player from the Bahamas to play professional baseball in Canada. History-making afternoon for Toby, and he's got a bright, bright future ahead of him.
Toby Simmons getting 3 straight walks, scoring multiple runs here today. Great first game for the former Marlins minor leaguer, as we see Francisco Fajardo back up to bat after scoring a home run and a single in back-to-back at-bats.
Fajardo, part of the San Pedro de Macorís quintuplets shared by both of these teams, has put on quite a good show for the students in attendance today. And another one of those youngsters, former minor leaguers, who's got a very bright future with the majors here at Labatt Memorial Park.
Fajardo looking to keep this game going. And it's called a ball for a 3-0 count for Fajardo, with Eddie DiOlio up to bat next. Fajardo puts it into play again, and Jaden Brown is going to recover in the outfield for another out for the Hamilton Cardinals.
Very nice catch there from Jaden Brown. Just really good stuff. I mean, no criticism, no pointers. That was just fundamental baseball at its best.
Number 7.
Up next, it's the fan favorite Eddie DiOlio, who has recorded 3 hits, including a home run. Recording 2 singles in back-to-back at-bats as well. Massive threat for the London Majors, with only 1 out to go.
Especially with a runner on base, not a good situation for Sanchez in his first IBL outing.
A little bit of a wild pitch, recovered by Vittini. Makes it a 1-1 count for Ramon Sanchez. Jagan Chandradat getting ready to run. On at first. And another ball is called for Eddie DiOlio.
DiOlio, usually he's swinging for the fences, did a good job of reading that pitch. He's been very patient in this at-bat as Sanchez will take a second, readjust his garments, get back up there on the mound.
Diolio puts it into play. Getting jandered out to second and records his 4th hit of the game.
By the sounds of it, a broken bat single as well. Really hit that one with some crunch, some power behind it. All right, it may not have broken the bat, but at the very least, there's splinters, there's fractures in that baseball bat.
Tyler Mosher coming up to bat with a runner in scoring position and at first. Ty Mosher hasn't been able to do much on the offensive side here, recording a sac fly and 2 flyouts. Ramon Sanchez looking for the 3rd out of the inning. Ty Mosher fouls it out to the left side for a 1-1 count.
Yeah, Mosher probably out of this Majors starting lineup, really the only batter who hasn't come alive yet in this game. But that's to be expected. It's the first exhibition game of the season. Still shaking off that rust. Still getting back into those motions. Nothing to worry about.
Ty Mosher takes it inside for the 2nd ball of the at-bat.
Now, we mentioned earlier the kids have been slowly leaving Labatt Memorial Park, but plenty of them crowded around the dugouts and the fences cheering on the home side.
And another one taken inside by Ty Mosher, making it a 3-1 count, putting some pressure on Ramon Sanchez to close this inning out. And Ty Mosher takes it inside. And the bases will become loaded once again for the London Majors with Tristan Osika up to bat, who has capitalized with a double and 2 singles so far in this game.
Well, it's hard to tell from where we're sitting, but to me it kind of did look like that ball may have clipped Ty Mosher on the arm. Hard to say, but regardless, it was a wild pitch from Sanchez. Well, it's a walk anyways. Still advances the runners. Bases loaded now for Tristan Osika.
Tristan Osika getting caught looking right down the middle as Ramon Sanchez collects the first strike of the at-bat. Sends a wild one. Vittini collects it.
That one narrowly missing Osika's bucket. Just about took his helmet off, and you can see him chatting up Vittini, probably thanking him for pulling that ball back.
Tristan Osika being very productive on the offensive side with 3 hits at 4 at-bats recorded here today. Has the chance to grow the 11-run lead in the bottom of the 7th. And it's fouled down the right sideline for a 2-2 count and putting Ramon Sanchez 1 strike away, closing out this inning.
Well, we've seen plenty of different strategies employed by the Cardinals pitchers throughout the course of this game. We've seen most of them have been a little quicker with their deliveries, leaving the batters little time to readjust. Sanchez likes taking his time almost as much as he can, really delaying things. Seems to have thrown off Osika so far.
Puts it into play as Ramon Sanchez is going to retire the inning with an easy play to first. And the London Majors are going to come out on top in this game, 13-2, with a monster performance here at the first game of the season in Labatt Memorial Park.
Just a fantastic showing from both of these sides. The Cardinals had defensive issues. They had some struggles with pitching throughout the game, but it's the first exhibition game. It's to be expected. It should be in no way at all indicative of their performances going forward in this season.
Yeah, I think it's clear that the Hamilton Cardinals are looking to revamp this pitching core and give their young guys some runs in the exhibition season to see what they're made of heading into the regular season, because we know the skills that Corbin Peters and Connor Corey and Chris Boato bring to the table, but giving people like Ramon Sanchez and Ramon Henriquez and Fernando Rodney, as we saw, some reps here in the first exhibition game of their season is not too bad to see regardless of the score.
Exactly. Get your young guys some innings, get the kids out there and just let them play. And one of the big positives from this day that the Cardinals can take away is Fernando Rodney is as good as promised. The man delivered 2 punch-outs, looks strong as ever. And if anything, he's only reaching his peak now at 48 years of age.
And I think the offensive capabilities of the London Majors getting enormous production from people like Tristan Osika, from their go-to guy Eduardo Diolio, and in a game where they didn't even play go-to guys like Sterling Joseph or Champ Garner or Josh Niles, it's incredible production to see from their bottom of the order guys.
I think it, again, going back to what I said on the broadcast, it's a small sample size, but if anything, in contrast to what we've seen from the Cardinals, in where small sample sizes shouldn't be indicative of future issues, for the Majors, these small sample sizes could be promising for the future. They could be signs of those bottom of the order guys really coming around, those young guys coming to life, showing some bat power, showing contact, showing clutch genes, and that final score really, really reflects that.
I think the pitching core of the London Majors showed up big time here today as well. We know the skills that Travis Keys and Skylar Janice bring to the table, but seeing guys like Jared Lund perform well, Ricardo Alvarez de Lugo, whose stat sheet does not propose incredible production, but he had nasty strikeouts in his first few at-bats and shows incredible potential in this ever-growing Majors pitching core.
Yeah, it's just the first exhibition game, but there's plenty to learn, plenty to grow, plenty of opportunities coming from this one. And there you can see the final score on today's matchup. Your London Majors win big.
Yeah, it's definitely a sight to see, with London Majors starting off hot, getting the first seed early in last year's season. With a game like this against one of their rivals, Hamilton Cardinals, a key team going forward with a enormous potential, having a 13-2 victory at home in such enormous energy from so many kids and so many faces. It's enormous potential for the London Majors.
Yep, a great game, a great show, fireworks all around. Delighted the kids here at today's game. It was student day, but there are plenty of lessons to be learned for both of these teams going forward.
Well, this has been Majors TV. I'm Cam Sterling, joined by Josh Alderman, and we'll see you next time.